Sonar mistakes that I made that you don't have to. Let's start with number one, ignoring scanning speed. You guys got to understand 2D, down imaging, side imaging, live, they were all designed to work when your vessel is moving at a specific speed. And if you use them outside of those parameters, you're going to have issues. If you're going too fast, you're going to have blurry and distorted images. On the flip side, if you're going too slow, it could stretch out those images, right? Making that structure, making those fish look a lot larger than they actually are. So let me show you how to maximize each sonar type as it relates to the speed your vessel's moving. So first, let's talk about down imaging. That's going to give you a very high detail image of what's directly underneath your boat. Now, one of the main things people mess up with down imaging is they don't move. They kind of hover in place, and it really limits the ability for that sonar to be able to pick up and share with you that crisp, clean image of what's actually below. So what you want to do with down imaging, you're going to want to be moving between 1 and 4 miles an hour to get that perfect, nice detail that you're looking for. So now let's talk about side imaging. With side imaging, similar to down imaging, however, you're going to see out both sides of your vessel. So you can shoot that out sometimes 100 feet. I usually have mine set at 60 feet because I see something at 100 feet. I can't actually cast that far, but I love side imaging. It's going to help you identify what's underneath the water, and then once you figure out, oh, that's a fantastic underwater stump, you can get closer to it and get that more detailed image. However, just like down imaging, you're going to want to actually be moving when you're doing this. Typically in a straight line is going to be best, and you're going to be moving between 1 and 4 miles an hour. All right, so next let's talk about 2D sonar. Now 2D sonar is going to allow you to scan at speed, right? You're not going to get that detail you will with down imaging or side imaging, and so you're going to be able to move up to 20-25 miles an hour just to quickly see what's down below. However, less detail. So a really great way to scan a lake really fast is first use your 2D sonar, dial it in, then use your down imaging and side imaging once you figured out that you've located something on that more broad swath of sonar scanning. And lastly, you have your live sonar. If you have this unit, you're not going to want to go over 7 miles an hour. As you know, really great way to see how the bass are reacting with your lure underneath the waters. So don't make that mistake. Also, you're going to get the best reading if you're going in a straight line. So if you're doing the whole fishtail thing, it's going to distort that image. Don't ignore your scanning speed in relation to the type of sonar that you have. Mistake number 2. So when it comes to frequencies, you really got to know what's best for the type of scenario you're fishing. So you got low frequencies and high frequencies. Your low frequency is going to be between 50 and 83 hertz. It's going to be really great for doing a wide range of view because you're going to get a lot more visibility, however, less detail. So low frequencies are going to be really great for searching that deep water and trying to find the places that fish may hold. And the reason that you're able to do that is simply because those lower frequencies travel further and have less energy loss, as opposed to high frequencies. So high frequency can be north of 200 kilohertz, and you're not going to be able to get the distance because you get a lot of energy loss. However, what you're going to get in return is you're going to get a smaller cone, a small visibility. However, you're going to get much greater detail. So this type of frequency for your fish finder is going to be really great for that shallow or kind of mid-range water. It's going to allow you to see fish better. It's going to give you a lot more crisp detail, which is going to allow you to dial in where those fish are actually at. And in some cases, you're actually going to be able to see them and see them in real time. All right, so quick recap. You got lower frequency, wider cone. You're going to be able to see more, less detail. Higher frequency, narrower cone, and you're going to see a lot more detail. All right, mistake number 3 is solely relying on auto tune. A lot of these fish finders out of the box, I'm not gonna lie to you, they're pretty good. However, if you learn the nuances, you can really dial in your fish finder and be able to see things that you've never seen before and really adjust them when it comes to the water clarity, target size, and specific depths. So let's walk you through that. So there's gonna be 2 settings that you're gonna want to be able to dial in. So this is gonna be your contrast, and also it's gonna be your sensitivity / gain. And what I want you to think of when you think of sensitivity and gain, think of it as a filter. Because the sensitivity doesn't affect the power or transmission of the sounder, but filters the returning echoes displayed on the fish finder screen. So turning the sensitivity up filters fewer echoes, which can clutter the screen. Turning the sensitivity down filters more echoes. And you set it too low, the fish finder It may show nothing. So you're gonna want to adjust the sensitivity and gain based off the water kind of turbidity as well as the depth, and you can dial that in for your conditions. All right, so now let's talk about contrast. Now contrast is going to display the sharpness of the object on your screen. The higher contrast setting works well in murky or turbulent water, making fish and structures pop against the background, and lower contrast is really ideal for clear waters where the subtleties in the terrain may be more visible. So adjusting based on the water clarity will make fish readings more consistent and a whole lot more reliable for you. All right, let's talk about mistake number 4, which is not identifying the thermocline on your fish finder. Now, thermocline is not something I talk about a lot on the channel, but I probably should, because it is a layer in the water column where there is a sudden shift in temperature and it will affect fish behavior. And the reason is because under that thermocline layer, there's not a lot of dissolved oxygen. So a lot of times you'll see bass and fish be hanging out above that line. And being able to recognize that on your fish finder is really going to help you dial in where to set those baits to make sure you're actually fishing where the fish are. All right, so here's some tips on how to identify it. Typically in water that is deeper than 20 feet, you're going to want to set the sensitivity to around 50%. And then on the lower part of the screen, you'll identify a thin, faint line. Now, if you're using a color display, this will probably come up like a hue, probably like a blue or green. And what you'll also see is that the fish hovering above it. So by identifying and targeting the thermocline, you're really going to be able to dial in and put those lures in the right spot versus fishing them through a place where they may not be, especially in the summer months where that thermocline is going to be a lot more distinct because of the warmer surface water temperatures. All right, so scanning speed, frequency, manual adjustments, and identifying the thermocline is really going to help give you a competitive advantage out there in the water, and you will be more successful. And if you haven't heard this, Lowrance just came out with a forward-facing sonar unit that is sub $1,000. However, there's a catch. You can check that out right there. Thanks for watching, guys.